right, you guys, I'm so excited today to have Kris and Kreigh Carter of Electric Edge Media, longtime friends and just people that I look up to so much for their hustle, work ethic, and what they've built. You guys, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here, Kris and Kreigh Carter.
Hello, Sierra.
Hi, Sierra.
Just the best of friends. We are the best of friends. Miles can't keep our friendship apart.
They can't, and they've tried, and it's not going to work. We're still going to be friends. Although we do need to hang out more when I come down, and I blame myself, and I'm going to be better. I promise.
We were busy too.
So Electric Edge Media, the only full service video production and marketing agency in St. George. You guys do it all, kind of a one-stop shop for businesses and companies. And what other types of people do you help? Businesses, obviously. Solopreneurs, probably.
Yeah,
people.
We used to do a lot more like weddings and stuff. We don't do that as much anymore. We'll still do one every once in a while, but businesses is our big focus now. Mostly small businesses too. We kind of really like to work with like the local small businesses, people that we know don't have a whole lot of money or people behind them yet, but are getting there. That's kind of what we specialize in so far.
Awesome. Well, us small businesses love you. I think I want to hear your opinion on this, because it seems to me that people are still undervaluing the what is the word? Undervaluing video in their business and the impact it can have, and also Google ads, Facebook ads. Am I wrong? Like, are you seeing people underutilizing and undervaluing it as you're talking to people?
Yeah, I think it's still something that is kind of hard to understand for people that haven't done it before. The biggest problem we had, and we've talked about this a little bit off air, Sierra, was just like pricing video. It's not a tangible thing. It's not something that a lot of people have priced out before, so they have no idea, and it varies. But you're 100% right. I mean, in today's stuff, even on your websites, the big sections that would be like an about us, 3 paragraphs and things like that. People even when they go to your website, land on your website, they don't want to sit and read a page of stuff. If we can throw that in a video where they can see your face and they can hear the way you speak and that kind of stuff, it makes so much bigger difference. Even from we've noticed, even from an algorithm side of things, like on Instagram and stuff, it favors seeing faces. It favors seeing like people like that. So it's a huge deal. I think people are starting to get into it a little bit more, definitely, and video is more accessible than ever.
Right.
With phones and webcams and whatnot, what we're doing here, Zoom and stuff like that. So they're starting to get into it more. What about the Google ads, Kris? What do you have to add with that?
I mean, with just kind of what you were saying before, is so Google ads is YouTube, is anything, and how often are we on YouTube and we see an ad and you have to watch the 5 seconds? Are you going to read something, or are you going to watch even on Facebook and Instagram ads? I mean, video is always kind of preferred because it's just another way of getting it out there and showing who you are, showing your product, showing your business. And
so I mean, when people are coming to you, if they're coming to you, they value it, right? I want to kind of look at this from a couple different perspectives, from a business owner perspective, and also like trying to communicate to whoever might be listening to this, who might have a business, how important and valuable and like mega impactful video and ads are, no matter how you put them out. So I want to look at it from that standpoint. And then also from you guys as a small business, how you're getting customers. So if people contact you, they're obviously either interested or they know the value of it. So there's probably not a lot of convincing, but maybe your strategies, you have to do some convincing. We can dive into that. But how are you guys going after the majority of your clients? How are you approaching that?
Well,
are you a lot of referrals? Are you?
So we've done, it's kind of funny because not funny, but it's interesting because as a marketing company, we have done very little ads because a lot of we're word of mouth. We get one client that just loves our work ethic, loves our videos, love what we're offering. And they're like, hey, I've got so-and-so who needs help. I've got so-and-so that's helping. We've kind of just.
That's how we worked for the first few years
Yeah.
completely off word of mouth.
Yep.
Which was
Uh-huh.
kind of silly, honestly. And I tell people this. So we have this little business class at Dixie that I was just kind of a guest speaker at, and I told them, I said, as a video person, I am just a gear junkie. You know, I just want to
Yeah.
spend. There's always new gear, new drones, cameras, and lenses. So I always want to spend money on that and get the newest, you know, best, greatest of that. But it took me a long time to realize, like, just turning around some of those dollars, even some, into like marketing, Google, like you said, Google Ads, Facebook promotions, things like that. That made way more difference than a new little light or, you know, like
Right.
there's a balance there for sure. But
Yeah.
you know, we just started doing that a little bit more, and we've seen a lot more returns, just like kind of cold clients out of nowhere. We've gotten a lot more of that in the last probably even 6 months, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before that, for years, it was primarily word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Awesome. I love that. Do you guys plan on, I'm going to take one step further on like your marketing, your business, because I find it fascinating and think people can learn a lot. Are you thinking at all about, I'm thinking a lot about text message marketing. We've used it for years at Thirst and it's hugely impactful. Have you guys thought about text message marketing or email marketing, or are you deploying any of those or anything in that kind of world yet? Or are you thinking about it, or what are your thoughts on it?
So we are for our business. So we're
Yeah,
doing
for your business.
email marketing for sure. Text, we've
Okay.
looked into it. We've had a client who was interested in it. I think text, and I love your Thirst. Like I've seen it and I'm like, this is so smart. But where we're business to business, we don't want to be so annoying that we're like bugging business owners on text messages type of thing. Like it's not something they've signed up. So we've kind of upped our email marketing. We just have a graphic that we've made and video, and then we're just sending to all of our people that we've had, and we've had people sign up for newsletters, trying to get tips from us on our website and stuff like that. So we utilize email marketing for sure. Text, I think there's a place for it. Thirst, genius. Like I don't know why more people aren't doing it, because if I got a text from Thirst saying 50% off, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go to Thirst today.
Right.
But that just doesn't, the text doesn't fit our model.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
We might delve into there a little bit, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Not for personal.
Yeah. That's cool. I think, well, I mean, email's huge. I just think like even just that touch base, like if we were doing a lot of work together and I saw you guys give an update on like, check out this latest, I don't know if you guys do a lot of drone stuff. I know you do drone stuff, but like check out this latest drone thing we did. And here's 2 tips for your business. Just the impressions, you know, so I'm glad that you guys are doing that with newsletters and emails and stuff like that. Okay. So let's dive into a couple things here. I have so many questions, but I'm really trying to keep it together to be courteous of time.
We can go off the rails if you want. It's fine.
Well, I want to derail for like a moment at some point, not quite yet, about 75 hard, because you said you would talk to me about that. So I think we should update on that. But okay, so if someone comes to you guys for video, maybe they're brand new business, like they're just like, I know that I need to be doing this, but I don't know what I need to be doing. How do you kind of approach that conversation? What questions are you asking to kind of lead them down the path of, are we doing like intro videos? Are we doing like a product specific campaign? Like what questions are you asking some of these new customers who are kind of new and like have maybe a little bit of money, but haven't seen the value yet, but they will, like, I know they will, you know, they will. What questions are you guys asking to kind of figure out what are you going to put out for them first if they have no idea, but they know they need to do it?
That's a good question. Generally, most of the people come to us with an idea of what they already want. That I would say is 90% of the time they have an idea of what videos they want to do. However, the times where that does happen, where they're kind of just lost, they know they need video. It definitely depends on what their company is, what their business is, who they reach out to. With the speaker company I work with, they don't sell to end users a whole lot. So an ad that would run on Instagram or Facebook doesn't make a ton of sense. But they have people that do install videos that made a lot of sense for them. I love to start with just like we were talking about before, almost like an about me sort of thing. For you can use it out on your websites 100%. You can also just blast them out on your social media 100%. I think that's a great way for people to just quickly get to know you. We put together so many of those. It's just kind of an interview setup. Then we go around, we get B-roll of your products, your people, your business, your establishment, maybe some drone shots, stuff like that. And it really gives people kind of that, that handshake, that kind of video handshake, like here's what we are. And it definitely, again, it depends on what they are, what they do. If they're, service-based, that kind of stuff really makes a difference. If they're more, they've got a product or something, specific product, then we like to highlight that. It sort of depends on who they're trying to reach out to and what their business does, really.
Yeah, like who their
Nice.
audience is and who they want to. Yeah.
And that's one of the little hurdles we have just as a video company, is that every video is so vastly different. I mean,
Right.
talk about a 15-second Instagram quick video. We could talk about a 20-minute about us company video. And these are two drastic price points, completely different, two drastic amounts of time that would take to shoot it and edit it, and just amount of time for them to be there, present on camera, stuff like that. So this is one of the hurdles we've had to face as a company, is that, people reach out to us and it's so different. And usually the initial conversation is something like, hey, what would a 1-minute video cost me? It's like, wow, man, I wish we had just a quick answer for that.
Yeah.
Usually we have to get on the phone with them. We're trying to work on a process with this, and any input would be great from an outsider standpoint. But, usually we have to get on the phone with them. We have to talk to them a little bit, what they're looking for, before we can get them bids and figure the whole thing out. So we're working on that, though. We're trying to figure out, it would be perfect that you just pop on a website and just fill out a little survey thing, and boom, you've got a rough bid. That's kind of, that would be great. That's kind of where we want to get to.
We're trying to get to that and have that ability, because a lot of people be like, I want a 30-second video. How much? Like, is there drone? Do you need actors? Do you need location?
There's so much.
30 seconds isn't enough to give you what, So we're trying to figure that out too.
I want to ask one question, piggybacking off that. Then I want to ask Kris, I want to ask you next kind of your favorite first go-to places to push it out if they're not really sure where to push it out. It obviously will depend on the business, but maybe you can give some examples of for this type of business, I go here. But real quick on this question, I have found, and I think I talked to you about this last time, Kreigh. Kris, I don't think you were able to join us on that one, but it seems to me there could be this little gap. I've thought a lot about doing more consulting. I am going to be doing some more consulting. And a huge part of that for how I like to approach most businesses definitely has video, definitely has a lot of online marketing, a lot of posting a lot on socials and stuff like that. It seems to me that there could be a gap between getting the actual video content, photography, and the creative side of it. So what does the ad say? Or if I know that I want to sell this water bottle, if I come to you guys and I'm like, I have this water bottle, I need to sell it. I know I need video on it. I need to do some ads to sell it. Help me sell it. Are you finding that there is a little bit of that gap and you guys are having to then kind of consult on what the creative should look like? Or do you bring other people in? Or do you kind of tell them you need to come to us with exactly what you want it to look like and we shoot it? Or is it kind of a combination? I hope that question makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And that's another reason why sometimes it can just change price points. Sometimes we have people come in, they have a script and they have exactly, I'm trying to hold back a sneeze or let it. I'm just trying to figure out what the sneeze wants to do. Sometimes they know exactly what they want, down to the shot. And sometimes they have no idea and they want us to completely. And to be honest, we love those, because we could actually put a little stamp on it. We've seen in enough time what works and what doesn't work. Not saying we're right 100% of the time, but we've seen a lot of things that work and don't work. So we love being on the creative side. If they come to us and say, hey, we want to start doing some videos. We have these products, money, and we're just ready to go, but we have no idea what to do. Those are, in my opinion, those are the most fun, where we get to kind of dig into their company. That's what we do. We kind of do a lot of homework on them, figure out what they've done in the past, ask them what's worked for them in the past, what hasn't, and then we build.
Look at what their competitors are doing.
Yeah, their competitors, even
full research
that have nothing to do with them, just ones they like that they want to, mimic, stuff like that. Those are great.
Mhm.
It definitely can change, and that's part of something that we try to bring is that creative side. Um, because this is an interesting question, Sarah, and I'm going to throw it back at you a little bit if you want. So
Absolutely.
it's one of the things that we sometimes um, deal with nowadays too, is that everyone has a phone with a decent camera on it. They've got a computer or iPad with decent cameras on them, and a lot of them shoot. Sometimes they'll shoot their own videos. We try to discourage. There's a time and place for them where they make sense, 100%.
Mhm.
But when they do professional videos, we definitely try to discourage that because it kind of, it demotes your brand a little bit, makes it look a little cheap. Even if it's not with us, we say get professional video done. But there's some of that, and we do it too a little bit. We know, like you guys do some. Thirst does some of their own videos, stuff like that. So where is the balance in your mind of like when you do something yourself, over when you hire it out? Like that's a question to you, just not even specifically video, but if it's something that you like, maybe you can do or do it well enough. Well, how do you feel about that? I was going to ask you.
So I like that question, and make sure you bring me back if I go off the tangents a little bit. I right now am focused on the amount of content over quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for most small businesses that are in kind of my world, so I'm a lot in the like food and beverage, I'm a lot in like the cafe, coffee shop. I'm small town, so I know a lot of local businesses here. And what I see is just they are under posting content, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, if I'm consulting someone and they're a relatively small business, I would rather them be on their Instagram stories with their phone, like 20 stories a day, kind of showing this real life behind the scenes, like getting to know the owner type thing, than waiting to get it perfect. Now, on the other side of that, the way that I kind of balance it is if I think they should have some major staple videos. Like I love the About Us or like the kind of intro. I think those should be like spot on. Like the ones that you guys came up and did for us, those are actually rolling now on a lot of pre-roll YouTubes. And this side note, I kind of hesitated because I was like, it's such a good video. It's so perfect. But I was being stupid and I was like, I look a lot different now. I don't know if I should run it, but I was like, run it. But I was so glad I had it. I was so glad I had it, and it's doing super well. We're up to like 30,000, 40,000 views in like a month because we're pushing it out. But so I think businesses should have professional stuff like that. In addition, I think that anything, as much as you could afford professional, I think you could do that if that's going to be kind of your aesthetic. If they're posting a lot on Instagram and stuff like that, you're good. If they're posting a lot on Instagram, and it's just like, I don't know, there are some businesses that might need professional photos on every single one. For the world that I live in, I think the major ones like the and like I would really love to do we did a little mini outdoor campaign where we recruited local photographers and traded them or paid them to go skiing, take our stuff and take pictures. That worked out super well for us because I get a whole bunch of content and they were photographers.
Right.
They had some experience. I could give them credit. However, I would have loved to have the foresight to in like the first snow in December, have you guys come in and do a whole outdoor video campaign too that I could use over the next few months. So like one long form that I could cut up. So I don't know if that answers your question, but like with Thirst, Ethan and Rachel do all of it themselves. The only time that they've brought in people is like people have like volunteered to do some free video. For me, I have to balance out as a business owner time and energy too.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely something too.
Right. Been interns and they're still learning. So like Rachel's been, she's pretty good at like, she's good at editing and they're looking good and everything like that. I would do a little bit more hiring down there if I was like involved in it more, but she does such a great job outputting it. Anyway, I am getting sidetracked a bit, but that's where I kind of draw the line. And I think you should have some staple videos that you pay for that you could hopefully cut up into smaller pieces and put out over the long period of time too. I like if I'm consulting, that's what I'm going to tell people. Like,
Yeah.
let's work
That's a
with these
good-
guys. Let's work with these guys.
I think that's a good strategy. There definitely has to be a balance because some people get so hung up on getting everything perfect that they never release anything. We've had clients who do that before in the past too, that they even like you were saying, maybe they just didn't look quite right. Maybe the video is awesome. Maybe they lost some weight. Maybe somehow, and they don't want to post videos, or maybe they said something just off. So that can definitely hang you up as well. So it definitely is it's a balance for sure. Trying to find that, and I like the idea. You need to get content out there, and you're not going to be hiring a video company every time you need to do an Instagram story. That makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
But I think a good way to put it, just me listening to what you were saying, is maybe your videos that you want to live longer, the ones that are going to have a longer life. Maybe those are the ones that you would take. And again, we're using video as an example, but this could be anything. This could be logos. This could be, marketing, branding stuff, whatever. But if it intends to live longer, maybe that's where you hire it out to someone more professionals or something like that. Because we have the same thing. I mean, in our company, we can kind of create logos. We can kind of do some things decent enough. But it's that balance of like, do we hire it out and get someone who's actually better and professional? Do we do it ourselves? There's always, and I'm sure with most small businesses, in a lot of regards, there's a lot of that. And again, not just video, but that's just it.
I think too, one thing I just thought of, and then Kris, I want to come to your question is like, for some reason, I love auto detailing and I find like really good ones wherever I go. Like Renew Auto's my place down there. And Swags is my place up here. But if I was consulting them, I was just thinking about this, I would have them do kind of those three. And I've done some video for them just because I got my camera and it sounded fun. Nowhere near the quality, but anyway, it was fine. I would have them do like their threes. And then for a company like them, I would strongly encourage them probably once a month or at least once every 2 months, have a company like you guys come in for a period of time and get just a ton of video that they could cut up and use throughout those months. That's just good. And maybe we decide on like 3 ads. Maybe they want to talk about ceramic coating. They're getting their boats ready. I know they're doing that right now. Cut it up and use it. That's one thing I don't think businesses think about enough is paying someone like you guys to come in and get a whole bunch, put together 3, and then this might be annoying for you guys, but I would ask you if you're doing it for me, I'd say, please cut up like 15-second clips of like cool shots of like slow-mo of my kolache, the drink pouring, or like this thing that I can use the month over and over, and then come in and get fresh stuff every 2 months. So I think it's just so underutilized and it can be so powerful, but probably the most important thing, I think over the amount, like the amount that you're putting out versus quality, it's a balance, right? But I see businesses messing up on the amount they're putting out, but when they get those nice videos or they get whatever video or content, it's about how they're putting it out. So Kris, that comes to your question is I think, it's just like, there's so much opportunity still with Facebook ads, Google ads, and I still think it's underpriced. So putting it out is just as or more important on like where it's going. So what are your top, like where's kind of your go-to, and maybe you can give some examples of type of business because it might differ. In my mind, I have a couple ideas of like what would work better on Facebook than Gram. I think probably anything can go on pre-rolls of YouTube, but I could be wrong. But yeah, what are your favorite like top 2 go-tos for pushing out content, like paid content that you're going to put some ad spend behind?
So I think, and this is kind of goes with anything doing, even you go in the social media part of it. I think what's hard is when people think of like ads or different ad streams, they're like, I got to do it all. And I think that's incorrect. I think you need to like drill down. And we've done this with a couple clients, like, okay, who do you need to be on Instagram? Who's your audience? Do you need to be on Facebook? Like there's different, I think businesses have a hard time. Like I went in for consulting we don't run social media for people, but I consult because I've gotten to the point we used to run social media for companies, but I don't know anything about Granite. How am I supposed to tell your audience about Granite? I just don't know. So what we've been trying to do is that find someone who's passionate into the company and train them and get a game plan, get like a marketing plan. Like, okay, who's your ideal customer? Where are they coming from? What age group? Sex? I mean, you know the whole like drilling down to your audience. Okay, now where are these people going to be at? Are they younger? Are they watching YouTube, doing YouTube ads? So I think it's all dependent upon where your audience is at. I think everybody, even us, we get overwhelmed with where we should be at, but business to business. Instagram is, but Facebook and LinkedIn, people do not do LinkedIn. And I think people are missing out on LinkedIn. Like if you're B2B,
Huge.
you should be doing ads on LinkedIn. Like I'm like, I'll tell people and they're like, no, I have to be on Instagram. And I'm like, but is your service, right? Or you're not 20s, 30s, you know, you're more of this. So it's kind of hard for, I think, for businesses, but I think that's super important for any part of the marketing, video, social media, ads, to really know who your customers are, where they're coming from, what they're searching on Google too. Like say you're the auto detailing, right? You know, and I tell my clients this all the time, step aside. If you're looking for your business, what do you expect them to search for? What do you want to pull up as for, you know? And that's going to help with the Google ads. And so it's all dependent upon where your audience is. And I've done Facebook, YouTube. I think YouTube kind of can be a little bit for everybody, depending, like if you're local, you know, you can target those down to people locally, you know what I mean? So it's just knowing your audience. That answer your question?
So do you absolutely, do you kind of handhold them and walk them through that process? Do you have kind of it sounds to me, because of the questions you're asking, you ask them these questions, you have kind of a process to handhold them and like help them find their demographic if they don't know. Like,
100%.
I'm just wondering, you know, if I was a brand new business or just thinking about it, I think I might get a little bit overwhelmed by having to have all that figured out. However, if I can come to you guys, you're going to help me figure it out. And then you have the knowledge based on how that ideal customer looks when you kind of work through it. You're going to know how to push it out. I feel super less overwhelmed and I'm like, take my money. So you have kind of a process that you walk people through with that to help them find their.
On both sides of, because we do like the SEO and the web development. I have
Mhm.
clients that do both, and then I have clients that do together. So yeah, I will, because I think it helps me do my job better and it helps get their product out in front of the right people or their services. So yeah, we go down, okay, who are you looking for? Age, sex, you know, income. Like there's so many things, like family values, like there's so many things that these ads will do that people don't think about. Do you think
Right.
about are your, you know, thirst, right? You know, I mean, it is broader. So we do that. I do consulting. And then I have like where I come in, I look at, you know, ask you a bunch of questions, narrow down, do competitive analysis, kind of talk it through with them, and then come up with a plan. Okay, you should be on it, you know, you should not be on Instagram. I mean, you can do it, you can post there to be there, but your focus should be Facebook and LinkedIn, or it should be YouTube and this. And then once a month, I'll go in and check on them. And
Okay.
like for the social media consulting portion of it, you know, a new Reels comes out. I'm going to show you what Reels is. I'm going to show you what you should be doing for Reels. I'm going to show you how to get the best thing and have their person for social media. The web SEO stuff I take care of, and I just make sure everything's implemented into their audience demographic. So
Nice.
sorry, two separate things, but they kind of work together. I guess.
think that being
Super
on
related.
a little bit on all the big platforms makes sense, but like you said, really focusing on
like
the ones.
spending the money.
Yeah,
the ad
exactly.
spend
But
on.
it's good to be at least around on
Yeah.
on all of them, I think, because like for instance, if we hit someone, they see our videos or see our websites or something, and they are big like TikTok fans, maybe we should just have a little bit on TikTok where they can see a little bit more about us, because maybe they're just younger and they don't have Facebook, or they don't ever get on their Facebook or something. But that's not our primary audience. So yeah, we shouldn't put a ton of effort into that specific platform. But I think that makes sense.
You should just be doing it, you know, have those profiles there. But I think it gets overwhelming for businesses where they're like, okay, I've got to be on Instagram, and you know, and they're different, like even video. I got to do vertical for Instagram. Like we have a client, it's like, okay, when you're doing this, do this, when you're filming for YouTube, it's horizontal. Like it's silly stuff, but it's stuff that it's not across the board. So I think just honing
Right.
it to having the profiles for everything and reposting, like throwing it to Facebook or throwing it to Instagram. But when you're spending the ad spend, it should be strictly who your audience is. That's most important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I agree. I love that. Now you mentioned something that I want to touch on really quick because I think a lot of people will find value in. And then if I have time, I'm going to try to pop on Instagram Live and see if that'll work to see if we can get real time questions. But if someone's coming to you, Kris, I would imagine, again, you said that 90% of the time they know what they want. So maybe they want help with their social strategy, or maybe they want just online presence. That seems a lot more vague. So, or like website work. Are people coming to you mostly for those specific things kind of broken down, like, hey, my website needs help? Or are they coming and saying like, I know I need to have a better online presence? Like, what's the majority for you guys right now? And then I have a follow-up question after.
They're probably coming mostly for specific stuff, right? That's where we
I
get
think
most of it.
I think that's too different for both of us. I think for my side of it, with website, people will be like, I have clients that will just be like, I know I need to show up on Google. I know I need to be searchable. How do I do that? And then I'm like, this is what we do. This is, and social media is actually getting into that. I don't know if you've looked into that, but Google's starting to look at social media profile on rankings and that. So it's a little bit, I think it's a little different from both sides of it. We get both, but mostly for website and SEO, because that's what everybody, they're like, I know I need to be on Google. I know I need to be able to be searched, or the Google My Business isn't correct. I don't know how to do that. They just know they need to be seen. Their website needs to be.
Okay, you said something very interesting, Kris. I have to ask, what are you talking about with Google rankings and social profiles? I need to know this, and I think many people might need to know this.
So there was a couple articles coming out saying that, so Google rankings and like video production, we'll just use ours, video production near me, right? I'm a business, I'm looking for video production, and the rankings is where you rank in line for Google searches, right?
Sure.
So
Organic search, right?
Yes, thank you. Organic search versus like typing in electric edge media, right? So I read a couple articles that were coming out at the beginning of this year saying that Google is starting to look at social media profiles to make sure, because all Google's goal, any search engine, let's say, but mostly goal is to get, when I type in video production, it's really a video production service, and it's the best quality video production. I have good reviews. I have the the keywords that I want to be listed on my website, and they're also listed on my social media.
I was just gonna ask about keywords.
So you've got some keywords, you've got some back end stuff to make sure that it's in line, because Google's point is to make sure that they're serving their clients and their customers the best searches. Because you used to be able to, back in the day, is keywords, people would keyword stuff. It's like, I want to list for video production, and they do like white text and they put video production a million times throughout the page. You never see it, but they were ranking higher. But Google AI is getting like super crazy, where it's like it will like block you down
if you're doing that crap, huh?
Like it's like, nope, we're done with you. So yeah. So
okay,
keep up your bios, making sure that your phone numbers on Instagram and Facebook and Google are the same. Making sure websites are the same, like your information across, because it's going to be running those bots across your sites when you're listing them.
Do you ever do, I think I just had this thought, do you ever do like do you offer like a online presence review? Because I'm just thinking like, maybe I need to have Kris like really dive in to make sure across the board, like I'm good.
Yep.
Do you offer that?
Yeah. So what I do, especially for like new clients, after the first meeting I go into, we talk about things. I ask them what keywords they want, like what's important to them. And then I go back and I have tools that I use and software that I use that will scan their own stuff and see where they're ranking. Because someone's like, oh yeah, I'm fine for, this stuff. And they're missing tons of stuff. And I showed it to them. I'm like, look, you don't have your metadata. It's kind of nerdy, techie stuff, but there's your keywords. Yes, you're putting it, but you're putting it too much. Now it's hurting you. So I do give them that information before it's like part 2 meeting
Yeah.
or email, like, yeah. So I do that for clients.
Ideal situation for a business, the smart thing that I'm seeing for a business is to have someone like you on their team or coaching someone on their team that you're talking with monthly to make sure it's all lined up. Now, if someone's not going to do that and they're going to do it, I mean, they should at least be doing it a few times a year where they're coming in and have someone like you review it, right? Like if they're not paying someone monthly to do it, which they should be doing, how many times a year do you think they should do it?
Good question.
On minimum, like minimum.
Minimum. I mean, so some of the stuff that you implement for like Google searches and stuff, any SEO person will tell you it takes 6 months to start, Google
Ooh.
notice and stuff. And a lot of people, it's hard because a lot of businesses will be like, I tell them all of my clients, I'm like, it is not going to be immediate because again, Google's not looking for short-term keyword stuffing, shove as many crap as we can. They're looking for the long-term thing. And so like
Marathon.
yeah. So like blogs, it's so kind of funny because people are like, oh, that's so old school. But so we have a copywriter on staff that will, because Google wants always content updated, even like products, like having new products on your website, having new updates on it. So, ooh, that is a good question. How often should they do it? If they're not consulting, I would say
It depends on I don't mean to cut you out. Like, it depends on the business or what listening to this. Should someone consulting you regularly? Like these guys, like there should be someone watching that crap closely for you.
Yep.
So do you have if someone who's hearing this wants to call and be like, hey, I need you to kind of check out where my stuff is because like I have no idea and maybe I'm missing. Like I have my buddy EJ, I think you guys know from Blaze. So he's been working with me a little bit more closely lately and we were missing so much stuff like this. So, and you don't have to throw out a price, but if they want to contact you, obviously they can go to all your socials and stuff, but do you have kind of a ballpark range, like this overview of like approximately price range for you to like analyze it, give them back the information and kind of let them know what you're calling your package if you have a specific need?
you're cutting out.
Question makes sense.
Yeah, it does. You're cutting out. So I was
we're picking up little words, so we're trying to piece together what you
Okay, I can try again. Is it coming in clear now?
A package or a rough price on something for me to consult to just go look at their stuff.
I just see I see a huge amount of value in what you're doing. And I think if any business owners are listening to this thinking like, wow, I have no idea where I'm showing up, like you should probably contact these guys. So I'm just wanting to give them some information on the price range to have you look at, or someone like you look at, like kind of this online presence review. How am I actually doing to kind of get that consulting from you, at least that initial conversation?
Yeah.
And maybe you give it a big range, anywhere between this and this.
So for, like I've said before, so for potential clients, when I know that they're doing websites, I just have included it in when I in for it. But I mean, if you're just like, hey, I just want to know where I'm sitting, where my website, where my company, where my branding's sitting, I mean, I would probably say like 200 to like 500 possibly,
depending on that's kind of like what I was thinking, like, and it would be completely worth it. Like when we did it for us, I was missing a whole bunch of keywords. We are now getting into some directories, which maybe we can get into another time. I still don't know enough about it, but apparently it's going to be a really good thing. And and we were completely missing the boat. So I strongly encourage, that's like going to be part of my consulting package as I'm talking to people, is I'm going to have them have like an online presence review, because it's just so important. Okay, I had one other question. Hang on, I lost it. Let me give
Little
me a
things
second to get
you
back.
don't think about what we said
So
about like
huge.
and stuff. So yes, there's a lot of little things, and it's hard for businesses to be able to do everything.
And it's this stuff they don't even think about at first. When you're first starting a business, I mean, like we said, we did word of mouth stuff for the longest time because we didn't realize we were missing out on all sorts of stuff like that. And something you don't know you need till you know you need it.
Yep.
Well,
So,
just a testament to this, to kind of give people some background on this and some real data too, is January is my scariest month. I think it might be for most bakeries because of New Year's resolutions. It is for us. So I legitimately have a campaign. I legitimately had a campaign called Save January, and we started in December because it gets scary, you guys. Like, and our recovery period for this, like full transparency, is probably like 2-3 months to recover from how sucky January is.
really people trying to get fit.
I did. Yep. But it lasts for 3 weeks, but it impacts us for 3
it
months.
does. You can
So
tell when you go to the gyms. They're
it,
busy for a few weeks. Only.
it legitimately, like in that third week, I was like, "Okay, guys, it's changed. The scene's changing, and the numbers exactly show it every year. I have 8 years of data now. This is what I did though. So Operation Save January, I recruited EJ over at Blaze. He's a good friend, and I've been trying to work with him for a while, and to do an analysis like you guys do, and mostly to push out ads. I was like, I have to get all this because I have a lot of video. Like you guys have done a good amount of video for me, and it's amazing. And I have underutilized it. So I'm like, I have this video. I have like a lot of content. I need to push it out. We pushed it out. And between that and I launched, so pro tip, you launch new things, like come up with new ideas if you're food, beverage, if you're struggling in a month or whatever. We launched a like healthy campaign where we introduced 4 new products. We launched delivery. So we threw a lot in. And because of that, and because our impressions on like YouTube pre-rolls were up, Google ads, he cleaned it all up. Our number of increase was, let me just think. January, hang on. I looked at Valentine's the other day, Valentine's Day specifically, and I looked at January, but I'm pretty sure that we were up 30%. Now for us, for food and beverage, you guys, that's huge. Like just by doing that. And for us, it costs about what the range that you were saying per month is what I paid, about that range per month plus my ads.
Yeah.
But I got back way more. So what I'm saying to anyone listening or watching is it is it's absolutely, if you have someone like Kris or Kreigh come in to know what they're doing, know how to get the content, number one, and make it creative and make it visual and make it appealing, and then know how to push it out, is just so huge. And I'm just like, it's been so fun to watch you guys too. And I'm just super impressed and believe a lot in what you are doing. Last question, if I can. One I wanted to ask you, Kris, real quick, and then you guys, anything you want to chat about. I'm sick of me asking questions, but that's my podcast, so I guess that's important. I'm not sick of asking questions. I'm sick of listening to myself talk. Let me just be specific. I love it when you guys are talking. That's what I'm saying. What is the number one thing, Kris, you see people missing on their website most often? Like what is the one thing that keeps coming up? Like people need to clean this up or pay attention to it.
It's kind of a big, so I mean, like just implementing SEO. Like I can go to a web page and go, they're not utilizing SEO just by the look of it, because Google, having an up-to-date website, constantly posting content on it. I like, I mean, like I have a lot of services clients, so it's not like products, because products you can kind of, we got new shirts, we've got new pants, we've got the new earrings, but so we do like a latest news, like what's tech news in this industry, like having Google looks at that. So I just think people are missing out on SEO in general. Like I just think that they either don't understand everything that goes into it, or they're just getting like a portion of it going, like the keywords. But like how you said, when did you learn about directories?
So he mentioned it like probably a year ago when I did a couple things with him, and then on our last meeting last week, he kind of brought the what it's going to take to implement it and kind of what it's going to do.
Mhm.
No, actually, but that's basically it. I was doing some consulting for a coffee shop and I hooked them up together. And that's how I first heard about it because he's getting them on all the directories and
Uh-huh.
then looking at it really closely with ours.
Yep. So like there's directories and there's backlinks. I mean, there's so many portions of it.
Mhm.
But even just like I just don't think people are implementing it correctly, or and it's fine going and like, I mean, YouTube, right? You can go search and do some certain things, but there's some technical parts of it. But I just think people are missing out. Like small businesses are just missing out, and they're just like, okay, I'm posting a lot of content, but they're not using the right keyword, or they're not
Mhm.
listing their location in the footer. They're not like even the footer. I can tell they're not using SEO by the footer of your website. Like,
Yeah.
nope, you're not implementing it. Like, and you're missing out because Google and Bing, my clients are like, Bing, why are you listing me in Bing? And I was like, Siri and Amazon Alexa use Bing. People don't think that.
Mm.
And so people just think Google, Google, Google. And
I
so
haven't thought about Bing in like 7 years. I'm
right?
not kidding.
I have, because that's what I do. So my clients, so they're not listed just on Google. I have them pulling up on Bing, because every time you use Siri, or every time, hey Alexa, where's blah 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 blah, it is using Bing to search it. So I think that, yeah, there's just a lot that goes into it. So I think that's the biggest thing. And having good looking websites, not like I had
Mm.
one that I'm redoing, that I'm updating, and it looks like it's 1995 website, and they got it in 2015, and I was like, whoa, okay. Just having a modern and implementing video, like video hero headers, boom, you open a page, video. Or the
Mhm.
second thing should be video about me,
Mhm.
having the products in video. I just think it's just, yeah.
It's so huge. I just think people don't know. I think people just, you guys know from starting a business, you get so wrapped into it. You're
Mhm.
aware of it because of what you do, fortunately. But imagine if your thing was auto detailing.
Right.
You're focused on getting your cars out and you
Yep.
have a website up. So you know you're visible, but you're not visible.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways from this conversation. I think for anyone in small business or thinking about small business is, I can't stress enough how important it is to have resources like Electric Edge Media to come in and take care of that for you, because it's price versus cost. So it's going to, the price is the price is the money that you're going to pay for that, or potentially the ads. The cost of not doing it is,
Yeah.
so the money that you're leaving and the visibility that you're leaving on the table
Yeah.
is so much more painful
Mhm.
than the investment is really what it is. The investment
Yeah.
in your business. I just think it's so important. So I would strongly encourage anyone who is brand new or has been in it a while, you have to have somebody like this on your team. And the fact that you guys do both, I think is so incredible. Like, I love it. That's, as I've been consulting, I'm thinking about like creating these teams, and the fact that you guys do both of those pieces, I think is so huge. So
We just
mad props to you.
stumbled upon that.
Yeah. It is a mistake that first businesses make, and like we said, we did it too. It's not even a mistake. You go into a business, you make a business doing what you know how to do, or doing something that
What
you
you
want to,
love.
what you love, whatever it is. So if you want to make the best cinnamon bun, you're focused on that. You're baking.
Right.
So it's stuff you don't think about, and you're like, I have the best cinnamon bun in all of Utah. Why are people not here eating it? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's the part that it takes a while to kind of get your head wrapped around. Because they're like, oh, well, I posted a picture on Instagram, and I do have a website I made quickly with
Wix,
Wix or Squarespace or something. You're like, where is everyone?
Mm-hmm.
You're focused on doing what you want to do. And this is exactly how we started, because we started as just video production. I would make these great videos, and no one would know where to post them. No one was still
Yep.
finding. We were getting work, like you said, with word of mouth, but we weren't even looking at the back end of things. We were just trying to make a good product, which most small businesses, that's their initial focus.
Right.
But the faster they get into knowing this stuff, and knowing that this is, you can make the best cinnamon bun in the world, but if no one knows about it, it does not matter. It doesn't really exist.
Mhm.
No one's going to be at your door. once they realize that, it changes the game.
Mhm.
It really does. It changed the game for us. I've seen it enough times, enough businesses that makes a difference.
Oh, it's so huge. So huge. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I know you need to bounce. I think we should talk about 75 hard soon. Maybe
Yeah.
on it, maybe on an IG live.
Are you
I'm on
halfway
day,
through about now?
I am on day, I think today's day 50.
Oh,
I have
50.
25
Beautiful. Yeah.
left. Yep.
Awesome.
But I want to hear about your experience, but maybe we can pop on an IG live because I have been wanting to kind of interview people
Yeah.
it really quickly where everyone can find you, your website, on your socials. We're going to link it on the video that I do, and then we'll put it in the details of the podcast. But why don't you tell everyone right now how to find you?
So it's electricedgemedia.com. Our handles are at Electric Edge Media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, across the board. So
Awesome. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to them. Incredible stuff. I think we need to do some videos soon. So I have some ideas, and we also need to hang out. So it would be a business trip,
Yeah.
and hopefully you'll say yes to hang out with me afterwards. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much.